Covenant Kids! We are so glad that you joined us. We have a great story today of something unexpected God did. But first, let's stand up and worship together.
Philippians chapter 4:4-7. Philippians chapter 4:4-7. The Lord is near, the Lord is here, and I have peace with God. The Lord is near, the Lord is here, and I have the mind of Christ. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again and again and again. In everything I will sing and give thanks to the Lord. Now I will say and I will pray, and again I say rejoice. About anything, but in every situation give thanksgiving. Don't be anxious about anything, but in every situation give thanksgiving. Philippians chapter 4:4-7. Philippians chapter 4:4-7. Philippians chapter 4:4-7. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again and again and again. Rejoice in the Lord. Philippians chapter 4:4-7. Philippians chapter
plans for later today? What about for your future? What plans do you have for when you grow up? We all have plans, don't we? But sometimes our plans don't work out the way we think they will. But God always has a plan, and His plans are always good. Today we're going to hear about a prophet named Balaam and his donkey, and how God did something unexpected to help Balaam follow God's good plans. Let's watch.
Hey everybody, I'm Louie Kablooey.
And I'm Susie Kablooey.
She's my sister. I'm her brother. We're siblings.
Kablooey!
Telling Bible stories together is the best.
Especially when the story is amazing as this one.
The Israelites were God's special people.
He freed them from slavery in Egypt.
And he brought them to the land of Canaan, which he promised would be their new home.
But
Canaan is too scary.
they were afraid to enter because they didn't trust God.
See, this was the sort of thing that made God angry, but he was also patient. For 40 years, he took them on a journey through the wilderness. This way.
No, this way. Okay, maybe it's this way.
This way.
For those 40 years, God showed them how much He loved them, and He protected them from their enemies.
And he took care of their needs. All right, everybody ready?
How will the rock help us?
Okay, everybody, line up.
Me first.
God showed them over and over that they could trust him to keep his promises.
Somewhere in that 40 years, they made camp on the plain of Moab.
You know who did not like this? The king of Moab, Balak. Israelites, oh, that's just great. Their God is like so powerful. Take a message to the prophet Balaam for me.
Yes, sir.
Wait, I didn't give you the message yet.
The message was that he wanted the prophet Balaam to put a curse on the Israelites so they wouldn't be able to defeat his armies.
When Balaam asked God what he should do, God told him not to go to King Balak.
Glad that was settled.
The king tried again, though.
Got it not settled.
This time, God let Balaam go to the king, but God warned him to only do and say what God told him to do and say.
So Balaam hopped on his donkey and was off to meet the king.
Giddy up! Hee-haw! The Bible tells us that God was angry as Balaam left.
We don't really know why.
But we do know that God cared about Balaam and the Israelites. So he sent a reminder to Balaam to not curse the Israelites.
The reminder was an angel.
Hee-haw! Hee-haw! Giddy up! Hee-haw! Why won't you move? Hee-haw! Hee-haw!
The donkey could see the angel blocking the path, but Balaam couldn't.
Balaam was so mad, he hit the donkey 3 times and then he yelled at it.
The donkey had had enough.
Hey, what'd I ever do to you? 3 times you hit me. Why? I carry you around all the time, and have I ever made you look silly?
The donkey really spoke, though probably not with a southern accent.
You'd think that Balaam would be too shocked to respond. Nope. Oh, you are so lucky I don't have my sword right now.
Ahem.
Oh, now I see. Once God let Balaam see the angel reminded Balaam not to curse the Israelites.
He was only to speak the words that God would give him.
When Balaam got to King Balak, he told him 4 times, I cannot curse these people. I can only bless them, for that is what God has told me to do.
Oh man, I never get to curse my enemies.
The Israelites had no idea of the amazing ways God was keeping his promise to them.
He used a talking donkey.
God still works in amazing and unusual ways today.
We may not always see what he's doing or understand how he's working, but he's always faithful to his promises.
And his faithfulness and care go beyond our wildest imaginations.
God's good plans cannot be stopped.
How awesome is that?
Mind-blowingly awesome. Bye.
See you next time.
Kablooey out.
Can you believe that story? A talking donkey? How unexpected was that? God's people had been on a long trip, and they decided to camp in the land of a king named Balak. The king was worried because he had heard stories of their powerful God who protected them. Balak came up with a plan. He sent some of his men to ask a prophet named Balaam to put a curse on the Israelites. Balaam told the men to spend the night while he asked God what he should do. Now at first, God told Balaam not to go with the men, but when they came back and asked him again, God allowed Balaam to go. But God wanted him to do only what God told him to do and say. Riding his donkey, Balaam set off to see the king. However, God was angry as Balaam left. We don't really know why God was angry, but we do know that God cared a lot about his people as well as Balaam. And he decided Balaam needed a reminder not to curse the Israelites. So God sent an angel to block Balaam's path. Balaam couldn't see the angel, but his donkey could. Balaam's donkey kept swerving to avoid the angel. Can you imagine? Balaam's trying to get his donkey to go one way, but he keeps going the other. Eventually, the donkey refused to move at all. Balaam got upset with his donkey. Can you just picture it? Maybe he was yelling at the donkey or kicking him to get him to go the way he wanted. Suddenly, the donkey opened its mouth and started talking. Now, we'd expect to hear hee-haw, right? But that's not what happened. The donkey actually spoke. He said, "What have I done to upset you? Why are you upset with me?" Now, if I were Balaam, I'd be too surprised to respond. But Balaam talked back to the donkey, like it was normal to have a talking donkey. Then God let Balaam see the angel. The angel reminded Balaam not to curse God's people, but only to speak the words that God would give him to speak. When Balaam got to the king, he told the king 4 times, "I cannot curse these people. I can only bless them because that is what God has told me to do." So what can we learn from Balaam and his talking donkey? Even when we can't see God or understand his plans, he always keeps his promises. God may use unusual ways to guide us, and he may do things we don't fully understand, but his faithfulness and care for us go beyond our wildest imaginations. Sometimes we think everything's going wrong. In those times, we can remember that not only will all God's good plans happen, but God is able, more than we can ask or imagine, to make sure his plans can't be stopped.
Hey Covenant Kids, it's time for our Word of Wonder. This week's verse comes from Ephesians 3:20. God is able to do far more than we could ever ask for or imagine. He does everything by his power that is working in us. Now this time, I'm going to say it and then I want you to repeat after me. God is able to do far more than we could ever ask for or imagine. He does everything by his power that is working in us. Ephesians 3:20. Great job, kids.
All right, Covenant Kids. God knows you, God loves you, and God leads you. Now go change your world.